All right, let's talk about a book that gets people really fired up. We're diving into Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Now, you've probably heard of it. Is it just a cold-hearted guide to manipulation, or is it actually a survival manual for the world we live in? Let's get into it.
An iron hand inside a velvet glove. That's Napoleon for you. And honestly, this quote pretty much sums up the whole book. Right from the get-go, we're learning that power isn't about being the loudest or the strongest person in the room. Nope, it's about having that unshakable will, but you wrap it in charm. You make it look soft, even deceptive. And that idea, the iron hand and the velvet glove, you gotta hold on to that, because it is the key to everything that follows.
So, here's the core idea of the entire book boiled down. Power is a game, and the rules of that game, they never really change. Think about it at work, in your social life, even on the global stage, it's all the same dynamic. And here's the kicker from Greene. You're already playing this game. Whether you want to or not, you're on the board. So you might as well learn how to play, right?
Okay, so we're diving into how to master the game, starting with the player's mindset. Because before you can even think about the laws themselves, Greene argues you have to completely change how you see things. It's not so much about the actions you take, but about the fundamental way you look at the world. And this is the absolute foundation of that whole mindset. You see, real power, it doesn't start with trying to control other people. It actually starts with you, with mastering your own emotions. Once you've got that down, then it's all about carefully, meticulously, shaping how other people see you. Because at the end of the day, that's what this game is all about, appearances.
So what does this mindset look like in practice? Well, it boils down to three main pillars. First up, you have to master appearances. That means knowing exactly which mask to put on for any situation. Second, you become a student of, well, everyone. You watch people, you learn what makes them tick, but you never ever trust them completely. And the third pillar, always take the indirect route. You don't just charge in and demand power. No, it's something you gain subtly with real strategy. The mantra is basically, see everything, say almost nothing, and never show your hand.
All right, so we've got the mindset down. Now let's open up the playbook and see how these laws actually work in the real world. We're going to look at two of them to see how this stuff really plays out.
Let's start with the big one. Law number 9.
So, Law 9 is win through your actions, never through argument. Now think about this. The book says that when you win an argument, what have you really won? It's usually a hollow victory, right? You just create resentment. But if you can demonstrate your point without a single word of debate, that's powerful. You let people come to the conclusion themselves that you were right all along.
And there's this fantastic story that shows this perfectly. So Michelangelo finishes his masterpiece, the statue of David. But a powerful patron, this guy Soderini, takes one look and says, "The nose, it's too big." Now, does Michelangelo argue? Does he lecture him on anatomy? No way. He just climbs up the scaffolding, grabs a chisel, and secretly holds some marble dust in his other hand. He taps away, pretending to work on the nose, letting the dust fall. And Soderini? He's down there, sees the dust and goes, "Ah, perfect, now it's right." See what happened? Michelangelo got what he wanted. He didn't damage his patron's ego, and his art remained untouched. That, my friends, is winning through action.
Okay, let's jump to another one. Law number 46.
All right, now this one is going to feel a little weird, a little backwards. Law 46, never appear too perfect. I know, right? We're always told to be our best. But Greene has a warning for us. He says that when you look absolutely flawless, you don't actually get admiration from people. What you get is envy. And envy, well, that's how you create enemies you never even see coming.
So you've got this strategic choice to make. On one hand, you can appear perfect. But what does that get you? Envy, silent enemies, and people thinking you're not even human. You become a target. But on the other hand, if you admit to a few small, harmless flaws, suddenly you deflect all that envy. You seem more approachable, more relatable. It's a kind of camouflage, really. A strategic imperfection that actually makes you safer.
Okay, so we've seen a couple of these laws in action. But what's the big picture here? What's the end game in all of this? Where does this, let's be honest, kind of dark philosophy actually lead?
This quote, which Greene borrows from Machiavelli, really cuts to the core of the whole thing. Any man who tries to be good all the time is bound to come to ruin among the great number who are not good. Oof. What he's saying is that the world of power isn't a fairy tale. It's not a place for pure, naive idealism. If you want to survive, let alone thrive, you have to understand that not everyone is playing by the same rules you are. You have to know their strategies, even if you don't use them yourself.
And that leaves us right here, with this one big, final question to chew on. Greene's whole point, his big warning, is that just ignoring the game doesn't protect you from it. In fact, it does the opposite. It just makes you a pawn for someone else to move around the board. So I'll leave you with this. What do you think is actually more dangerous? To learn the rules and play the game of power, or to just close your eyes and pretend it's not even happening?